Hi everyone, it's Cindy. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here again today, still hoarse, but I don't think my voice will completely disappear. I'm not going to do a lot of reading today. I have got a lot of work done on the books, and I'm trying to go through a bunch of things today. I've been doing lots of tidying in the studio, so I'm going to share with you just one of these little stories today by Betsy Lewin. Beatrix Potter's book, The Tale of Peter Rabbit, was among my favorite picture books when I was a child. I've always been fond of animals, and I love the warm, endearing personalities she gave her characters. Peter Rabbit was my favorite because, like me, he was mischievous and adventuresome, sometimes finding himself in hot water. When I grew up, I became more interested in Beatrix Potter. She was a shining example of a woman making a place for herself as an artist and an author in the world of publishing at a time in history when it must have seemed all but impossible. In the 1950s, it seemed all but impossible to me, but I jumped in with both feet and am both thankful and still a bit surprised that I didn't drown. So that is today. And I'm not going to torture you with my voice with too much reading because there's just no need. So the other thing is I've realized, that this book that I'm using to create the scrapbook is so big, I could never go through and read the whole thing to you. So I did skip over like the Peter Rabbit stuff because I feel like we've already talked quite a lot about it. And also, you can always pick this book up yourself if you're really wanting a deep dive. I am going to pull a couple pages from it today for my making. So I will go through a couple things with you that I found interesting. So one is about sort of how, we're pushed to perfectionism. So Beatrix Potter was no different. Polish, polish, polish. In her search for the right word or phrase, Beatrix said, I polish, polish, to the last revise. She took the same care over her illustration and checked the quality of its reproduction and printing. She also thought about typefaces, bindings, cover designs, end papers, title pages. The whole book, not just the story, was by Beatrix Potter. This is the worn catalog for 1902-3 with Peter on the front. This is interesting. Beatrix was never confident about drawing figures, and was not surprised when Warren asked her to redraw Mrs. McGregor. This is the old and this is the new. And I like the old better. I just think it just fits the story really nicely. It's in her style. The other one, when she's been pushed to do this, I would say is less her style. But I know she was detail oriented, right? So yeah, it's interesting. This is just about the first edition of her book. They were priced at 1 shilling. And then we get on to Peter Rabbit's fan mail. So children took Peter Rabbit to their hearts and sent huge quantities of fan mail to Beatrix Potter. She always replied. Sometimes she sent picture letters with news and drawings of Peter. Sometimes she sent tiny letters in their own miniature envelopes. These were written as if by one of her animal characters, and they were addressed either directly to the child or to another character from the stories. Oh, that's so cute. Master J. Ripley, Sittington Hall. Dear Mr. Jackie, I am obliged to you for sending me a lovely calendar like a rose. I have tasted it, and I think it is made of paper, so I shall not eat any more of it. I shall hang it up on my rabbit hole. Love from your friend, Peter Rabbit. Master J. Ripley, Sittington Hall. Dear Mr. Jackie, my son Peter has written to thank you for the roses. They will decorate my rabbit hole most elegantly. I was in want of another calendar. Jos Rabbit. P.S. I had not room to write my name properly. Josephine Rabbit. So lots of letters. Very, very cute. Still lots of Peter going on. Peter Rabbit's post bag. In 1893, Noel Moore had received the picture letter that first told the story of Peter Rabbit. Over the next 10 years, Beatrix sent dozens more to Noel and his brother and sisters. For miniature letters, she made the Moores a little mailbag marked GPO, General Post Office. These are the Moore children. From right to left, Noel, Eric, Marjorie, Winifred, Nora, Joan, Hilda, and Beatrix. And then this is all about the Peter Rabbit doll. So cute. And then playtime with Peter. So they show all of the products that came from Peter, right? So board games, card games, these toys, shoes. And this is the image I was waiting to get because I'm going to use it in the other scrapbook. So I will set that aside. And this will then begin on more stories by Beatrix Potter. So these will be the pages I can play with today. But I also have a bunch of things over here that I need to go through. So this is kind of my pile of stuff today for creating Beatrix Potter things. Then I also pulled from my existing ephemera some things. Look at this, it's so cute, this postcard. Some things that I've made recently that I would like to use because I feel like they fit in what would be a Beatrix Potter scrapbook. As though it were her scrapbook, right? What else? I have so many supplies out right now. Okay. It's funny because it actually inspired an impromptu studio clean this morning. I was feeling like, oh, there's too much stuff everywhere, but it's just literally the supplies for these books hanging around on my desk. Okay. I made this little card yesterday. And that can tuck in there. I also went through the scrapbooks, and I've added some snippets from this beautiful British Isles nature kind of book. I figured a big part of being Beatrix Potter is doing nature study, so that I want to reflect that. Not just plants, but also animals. Okay, so we can start to put a few things in this book. We have a nice wide pocket there, so what's the widest thing I have? Probably this. Checking what other places I should put pockets in this signature. I think probably, oh, I've got another pocket here we can put something in. Now this has a tuck on it, and I have another piece that could go in the tuck, I think, but I may do, yeah, I'm going to do a Beatrix Potter related piece to go in there. I know I have lots of little things I've already cut out that would be appropriate. Just looking at everything I have here. I'm not functioning inside of this tray very well today. Usually my trays are much more organized, but I had a whirlwind making session yesterday because the weather was so yucky. I went out briefly, but not for a long period of time. Today I'm getting out though. It's nicer. What do I want to put in there? Oh, this is cute. A little pink. That'll look cute. Okay. There's a little pocket I can probably use somewhere as well. Put that up there. Okay, so we need to punch a hole. Where's my ink? Here it is, my ink. Where's my ink dauber? Right here. Then we need something in the little hole. A little flash of pink might be quite cute. I might double that over. There we go. And then I'll plop that in this pocket. Or does this need to be something that goes in an upper tuck maybe because of the lace? Yeah, you know what? I'll do that instead. Change of plans. This would be better here. Okay, so that's quite a good signature. Now I just need to do some gluing down of things to finish it up. Okay, this needs this, I think. It's going to be a little hello from like a Wind in the Willows feeling piece, which we talked about before, how she kind of snubbed Wind in the Willows. Oops. I haven't used my glue yet this morning. It's clogged. Just going to give this a little bit of room right here, so it's not going to be at the very top. So that can be tipped up and written on back. So cute. Then we need some little things. So where did I put my tray? Over here. I have all sorts of cutouts that we can use here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just keep this one signature out until we finish it, and then I'll move everything because I'm feeling a little crowded. Let's put those back on the shelf over there. Okay, so this is the ephemera to use. We'll just leave that up there. Cutouts over here. I think we'll use this cute little guinea pig in his suit on this side. Okay. I'll put that in this corner. I need something here. Do a little bit of a naturey bit. This flower. These books are going to have lots of writing space as well, and space to glue down and use for your own kind of, you know, maybe you want to do a Beatrix Potter study, maybe you want to do illustration, or you want to glue, you know, things in for, you know, making it a book about your children. There's lots of possibilities with these books. Okay. It's a little ticket. Right there, I think. A little something here. Maybe this little mouse. I really do see in her line drawings, when she first was quite attached to just doing black and whites, I understand why, because she's very masterful with the line. Like, she's very good with linear drawing. So we need something on this page now. I should really just cut these bits apart so they're a little smaller to manage here. Maybe we'll use one of them. I actually cleaned out my Tuesday 10 bin this morning. I cut up all of my collage boards into like the size of ephemera, so I can use it to start making things. So slowly but surely things are getting organized here. Okay, so we have this in the center. Maybe we'll just do some nice florals like this. Be very cute. Yes, I think I will go out for a nice walk somewhere. I feel like I just want to go in the woods for a bit today. I think it's going to be warm today, although here in the studio it's a little hard to sense the weather because I am in the basement of the house. But it seemed quite sunny when I was upstairs. Yesterday was a weird day. It didn't rain, but it was just kind of, I don't know, gray and hazy. It sort of matched my my feelings. I'm feeling a little gray and hazy with this congested feeling. I'm not congested, I'm just hoarse. Now I found this little book of poetry. Maybe we'll add a little poem on here or something. The tree on the corner. I've seen the tree on the corner in spring bud and summer green. Yesterday it was yellow gold. Then a cold wind began to blow. Now I know you really do not see a tree until you see its bones. Lillian Moore. Let's add that. That's quite nice. I enjoy purchasing like old Victorian kind of scrapbooks, and it's always nice to flip through them and see how people did their scrapbooks, you know, because they're not like a modern scrapbook. They're different than that, and I like that style a lot. It's very like, you know, genuinely just finding these things that speak to you and putting them in a book. Okay. This side we need another Beatrix Potter kind of thing. So lots of those cards left from the 5 Little Bunnies. That's a little pocket. Maybe this little squirrel. Put Mr. McGregor on here. Here's Mr. McGregor. And then I want to see, do I have any? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling, "Stop, thief!" Let's just tear this out. I'm going to glue this one at the bottom. And I'll take this page that has the scene and I'll just clip out our little Peter here. Okay, and we will put him here. And we will clip out Mr. McGregor as well. It's funny, all of the studying I've done about Beatrix Potter, whenever Mr. McGregor is mentioned, I enjoy listening to people talk about, like, kind of the unique terror that he is responsible for. An otherwise innocuous little old farmer man. But then, you know, it does bring to mind how complex the relationship between animals and people, especially as you explain it to children, how complex that can be. It's a very multifaceted relationship. Okay, so let's do that. Make a little scene here. And I'll bring this up and show it to you a little closer. There we are. Okay. Something over here. Another little botanical. I feel like each one of the signatures in these books, I'm kind of going through this theme or something. Like this one has these botanicals that I'm doing. Not all the signatures have these. And so these books are going to be quite unique. I love this wallpaper so much. It's really nice. Maybe another little poem. This is called Buds. When all the other leaves are gone, the brown oak leaves still linger on, their branches obstinately lifted to frozen wind and snow-deep drifted. But when the winter is well past, the brown oak leaves drop down at last to let the little buds appear, no larger than a mouse's ear. And maybe we'll find one of Beatrix's mice to go with this. I think I have the perfect one. Oh, this book has the toughest staples in it. It's so hard to tear these pages out. Whew. Let's use this little mouse. Just reading the tale of Gloucester. My house is very quiet this morning. I don't even really know why, because my kids are upstairs. I guess they might be watching a movie. I thought my daughter would be down here by now, but she must be entertained with something up there. And I got these lovely watercolors. I'll show you what I did yesterday in maybe in the other, I gotta come back to this in a moment. I'll show it to you now maybe. I think it's in this book. Maybe in the first signature. Can't remember. You'll see I've been really working on these. I've done lots of stuff. I can't show all of it to you because it would take me forever to get these books done. But you'll see it in the flip through, not to worry. Where is the page? Oops. Maybe it's not in this one. Oops. It might be the other book altogether. Okay, let's put that away for now. And I'll show you this one for a minute. And this is where it might be. Nope. Okay, maybe it was in the other book and I just... Oh no, it's gotta be. Well, it doesn't have to be. So, what I'm talking about, and I'll show you some footage sped up. I got these wonderful watercolors. They're Gansai Tambi granulating colors. It's 5 colors and 1 empty pan from Kuretake. The colors are Aurora Red, Pink, all Aurora, Red, Pink, Orange, Blue, and Violet. The only complaint I have is they don't come in a case. They come in like a cardboard, like there's just the plastic pans. There's no case for it, but this is what they look like. But what they're designed to do, they're a water-based pigment and they're granulating, which means that they kind of separate. So what it says is the colors of these Gansai watercolors separate to create whimsical and dreamy effects. The degree of color separation and blurring may vary depending on the type of paper used. You can enjoy greater changes in color by dissolving the watercolors in lots of water and letting the colors separate on your palette before painting. So I did a bit of work with them. So this was just a printed out white page with these butterflies. And look at this color. So this is the Aurora Blue. And like, see how the colors separate and get really interesting. So it's very cool. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So I did a swatch page. Remember when I glued down this? This is the actual watercolor pen that belonged to Beatrix's mother. I did this on watercolor paper. So this is a swatch of just a lot of the color effects that happen from that Gansai Tambi paint. And then I went around some of them with gold to just add a little bit of special, you know, gilding. So I've done a few things with those, on those butterfly tags. There's a couple butterfly tags in each book. This is the bluer one. There's also an oranger one. But yeah, that's what I was working on yesterday. So I think that being said, I'm going to call this a video, and I hope you're doing well. I'm hoping my voice returns in the next couple of days or so. And until next time, I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. Okay, so let's get into these watercolors. These are Gansai Tambi granulating watercolors. They're supposed to dance around in water and kind of separate. I just got these and I'm really excited to use them, but first we have to use our science to get into the package. So these look really interesting. They all look the same until you hit them with water, and then you see that color separation happening. The colors here are all Aurora color name, like Aurora Red, Aurora Orange, Aurora Pink, Aurora Blue. So what I want to do today is, on this page for this Beatrix Potter scrapbook, we have this image of a watercolor pan, and I'm going to just shape some watercolor paper to fit nicely on this page. I've got a little bit of writing at the bottom there, so I'm creating sort of a unusually shaped kind of swatch palette, and then using a black fine liner to create some shapes to just paint inside and do this palette swatching. I think this will be a lot of fun. I don't know what to expect with these paints yet, so I'm excited to try them out. I'm going to get my water and a relatively big paintbrush and just kind of flood the watercolor paper a little bit, because these are supposed to dance around in water. So this palette does come with one empty pan for mixing, which is nice. You can start to see a little blue kind of scooching out from underneath that purple. Things hopefully will show up okay on camera in this lighting. These colors kind of, they're in the same family, but by the end of this, I really do love how these look. We also get this really bright purple. And I think the more I experiment with these, using them in different concentrations of paint and water, as well as mixing the colors together, I'm going to get a very diverse color range. You can already see a diverse color range here on the paper. So yeah, I really think it's going to be a lot of fun to play with these. We are getting a lot closer to getting this page done, which is nice. I'm sort of moving through these books, and I'm now going to just outline the edge of the page where it's all been tattered and torn with some of the paint, just as kind of an outline, because I think it looks really nice to just give an outline. And then I'm just adding little bits of color, you know, blending here and there, making this a fun palette. And there's the close-up of how interesting it looks. And then I'm going to heat it up with the heat gun to just dry it, because I want to move on and get to the next step of creating this fun piece. So the next thing that I'm going to do is put some gold paint on here, and I'm hoping that it will look interesting if I just add it to like a few of the sections. This is a gold, like enamel based paint for models and things like that.